Hi everyone, it's Sonia here. So I wanted to give you an update on how things are going for our shadowy overlords. They're actually running into a few problems. The problem mainly being that people are kind of less interested in COVID these days and not so eager to get vaccines. I know, it's so crazy. So I thought I'd give you an update and then you let me know what you think. Before I start, I want to say thank you for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your support on Patreon. That keeps my channel going. Also, I just want to let you know I have the purifier pouches. These are pouches of little ClO2 pellets that are activated by the moisture in the air to release a little bit of ClO2 gas, which eliminates odors by removing viruses, bacteria, fungus, and mold. You can take one of these and put it in your car, and it's amazing how this will not just cover odors, but eliminate the source. And your car will smell just great, within a few hours. So, I mean, it's a good hack if you got a smelly car. Also, if you have smelly items around your house that are really hard to clean, like smelly shoes or something that got peed on, maybe you have a dog and he peed on the carpet, you can literally put that carpet in a bag with one of these, leave it overnight, and you'll be amazed that in the morning there's no more smell. I love these things. These are just amazing for cleaning. Also, I still have these water purification tabs. ClO2 as well. One of these will purify 10 gallons of water. So if you're interested, please check out the link below for more info and a discount. Okay, so let's talk about the problems that our shadowy overlords are having. So the problem is that people are kind of over COVID. They're just kind of like not that scared of it anymore. Most people are vaccinated or they've had it. And if people aren't scared, they're not willing to go along with restrictions or get extra boosters. And so we're at the point now where a lot of vaccines are actually being thrown in the garbage. Our government spent a fortune on these things. I think here in Canada, they bought enough doses for like 8 doses per person. And already, at only 4 doses, not everyone's taking them. And some of them are going in the trash. How much COVID vaccine is Canada throwing away? Secrecy surrounds the real answer. What numbers we have suggest more doses are being wasted than officials had hoped. Canada has tossed or let expire almost 2 million COVID-19 vaccine doses in recent months, though the exact losses remain unclear. And it's happening all over. Switzerland to destroy over 600,000 expired doses of Moderna COVID vaccine. Belgium to throw away 1.3 million vaccines by July. And in South Africa, they have decided that what to do with expired COVID shots is burn them. So how did we end up in this terrible predicament? Remember, we had so many extra doses in Canada. I thought they were going to give them to the third world. What happened with that?
Right now, for example, there are billions of doses of our vaccine, the vaccine that was used in Europe, in the US, that it is offered to low-income countries for free. And it is offered by the US government mainly, but also by the European Union, but they're doing donations. So the US government bought for us at cost and they donate it. They can't use them right now because we discovered that one thing is supply and the other thing is to have educated population that believe the vaccines is doing well.
So this is the problem. I mean, I'm not an expert here, but it sounds to me like what you're lacking is actually demand.
One thing is supply and the other thing is to have educated population that believe the vaccines is doing well.
The countries that have these low vaccination rates and are refusing these free doses are mostly in Africa. Is Albert Bourla saying Africans are uneducated? That's kind of racist. How did this happen? Well, in part, it's because of anti-vaxxers.
With the vaccine, that we knew that there is a very fanatic group of anti-vaxxers that will go after us no matter what.
That must have been really hard for them to be targeted by anti-vaxxers, blamed for all kinds of crazy things. So sad. Well, according to our shadowy overlords, as they convened recently for like another World Economic Forum conference.
What do you think the mechanics of anti-vaxxers was? And what can we learn from that to create a pro-vaxxer groundswell?
Imagine if you could turn this around and all those people who have become more and more radicalized, hardcore anti-vaxxers, could you turn that around and make them pro-vaxxer? What an interesting concept. I wonder how they're going to do that.
I want to make a point. In this pandemic, we've seen much more anti-vaccine activity than in others. And so in the developing world, the problem is not an indigenous anti-vax movement there. It's there having concerns because they're hearing of what's happening in the rest of the world.
So the third world is refusing vaccines because they're having concerns because they're hearing what's happening in the rest of the world. What are they hearing? He didn't say. It could be they're hearing that we're still having COVID and COVID deaths and that the vaccines didn't actually end the pandemic. It could be that they've seen some studies that made them feel less confident. It could be that they saw that Western countries remained under harsh public health measures even with their high vaccination rates. Maybe they saw that some of these measures never really went away, even 2 years in, and seem to be here to stay. Maybe they saw what's happening in China. Maybe they saw all the civil unrest in the West, which arose over vaccine mandates. I don't know what they saw, but he says it caused them to have concerns.
That's where local leadership is so critical that Ernest has talked about, getting local leaders to speak, to understand, and to get people to be confident. But I think, I don't know how to solve the problem when politicians, well-educated politicians with science degrees, are, pushing out things that don't make any scientific sense. That is a problem, and it certainly affects people's confidence in institutions.
Yes, I think I had seen some of that taking place. There were some politicians in the United States who held these hearings. I think sometimes it was even in the Senate, and they had all these doctors and nurses and trial participants and people like that come in and say very negative things about vaccines. So they were just really maybe questioning things too much. Well, one politician who certainly hasn't had anything but glowing reviews for the vaccine was Justin Trudeau.
Getting that shot really was an amazing feeling. It hits you.
I can't help wondering what exactly was in Justin Trudeau's shot. I hope they gave him the right product, because for most people it didn't feel that way.
Getting that shot really was an amazing feeling. It hits you.
It seems like he got a little bit of an extra kick out of his dose. And then also you might want to hear this, the point of view of Helen E. Clark, also at the World Economic Forum conference, who is aware of the dwindling public support for the COVID restrictions and the vaccinations. And here's why she thinks this is a problem.
The reality is that political resolve to fight COVID is waning. Popular support for measures is waning. People are over COVID. The problem is it's not done with us, but we're in danger of losing this moment for transformative change. And let's face it, people are still dying.
We're in danger of losing this moment for transformative change. I wonder what she means.
People are still dying in significant numbers every day. People are still developing long COVID every day. Low-income countries are horribly under-vaccinated. We've got issues here and now. I think another reason is that the package of things that has to happen is trans-sector, and there hasn't yet been an effort to try and bring together a head of state and government level focus on the range of things that needs to be done. We said this needs a special session at the General Assembly. It needs a negotiated political declaration that brings the different threads together. We're talking not just the WHO and health ecosystem. We're talking the WTOs. We're talking the IFIs. We're talking the wide range of foundations, players in this space. And so a lot of people are doing bits and pieces, but it's not looking like a coordinated push to get transformational change.
I wonder what she means by transformational change. Fortunately for us, Klaus Schwab was at this same World Economic Forum conference, and he was more than willing to elaborate.
Let's also be clear. The future is not just happening. The future is built by us, by a powerful community as you here in this room. We have the means to improve the state of the world. But two conditions are necessary. The first one is
that we act all as stakeholders of larger communities, that we serve not our only self-interests, but we serve the community. That's what we call stakeholder responsibility. And second, that we collaborate. And this is the reason why you find many opportunities here during the meeting to engage into very action and impact-oriented initiatives to make progress related to specific issues. This war is really a turning point of history, and it will reshape our political and our economic landscape in the coming years. But we also are at the tail end of the most serious health catastrophe of the last 100 years, COVID-19, and we have to reinforce our resilience against a new virus possibly, or other risks which we have on the global agenda. We also have to address urgently the issue of climate change.
And J. Michael Evans, president of the Alibaba Group, had some more good news for us.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
No discussion on the pandemic as an opportunity for transformational change would be complete without a few words from Professor Yuval Noah Harari himself. And he has even greater hopes for our future in the New World Economic Forum order.
The COVID-19 crisis could be a really watershed moment, a moment of significant change in the history of surveillance, because surveillance is being revolutionized, transformed from over-the-skin surveillance to under-the-skin surveillance. Previously, governments were collecting data about what we do, who we meet, where we go, what we watch on television. Now, with this epidemic, they increasingly focus on what's happening inside our body. What's our blood pressure, our body temperature, our heart rate? Now, this can be used, of course, to identify if you're sick and to create a better healthcare system. You know, it's such a, for a government or a corporation, it's like the most important thing in the world to know what people actually feel. No, tyrants have fantasized about it throughout history, but they could never actually do it. You know, in the USSR, Stalin had this, the huge secret police, and later the KGB, following people around all the time, but the KGB couldn't follow every Soviet citizen 24 hours a day, and even if you had a KGB agent following you, he couldn't know what you were actually feeling. If you heard a speech by Stalin on the radio, you smiled and you clapped your hands. What you actually felt, the KGB didn't know. But the future KGB could know.
Now, I don't know what he means about surveillance of what's going on under your skin. Must be talking about temperature checks. So, yes, it looks like the shadowy overlords are hitting some roadblocks, and they have convened together to decide how to overcome them. Anyway, they're drawing up some kind of battle plan. I mean, battle plan to fight COVID-19. So that's what I want to let you know. They had a lot of success, but it's not perfect. So there's a bit more work to do. And I guess we'll find out what they want to do with us shortly. So there you have it. I hope you found that interesting and useful. Let me know what you think. And thanks again for liking the video. Thank you for your support on Patreon. And don't forget to check out the link for the awesome purifier pouch that's super effective at getting rid of odors. Really, really works well. It's like the best. Much better than any kind of spray or deodorant. It is not an odor cover-upper. It's an odor remover. And also the water purification tabs. I love you guys. I'm sure that we've had a wonderful chat. I always love to see you guys in there. You guys are amazing. So thanks for being here, and thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.